Welcome to We Know Marketing, We Promise. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Naoma, and this is a show about how to actually build a brand that works.
Today we're talking about how to be consistent.
Which is really funny for the two most inconsistent but consistent people.
Yes. It depends. If I really, really love it, I can be consistent. I love the gym, I love social media, and I love my business, and I love my daughter. And I love a few of my friends, and so I can be consistent in my relationships with them. But if I don't love it, I have a very hard time being consistent, I've realized. And I think there is a point where you have to learn discipline. So
I think for me, it's the discipline part. So just that commitment to yourself. For me, it's a commitment to yourself. Like the writing of the newsletters and all of that. I've told myself I will do this. I keep promises to myself. And I don't let myself down.
So what are some things you've been really consistent with in the last 5 years?
My newsletter, except for these last 2 weeks.
Coming soon.
I've just been struggling with platform stuff. That's why. But my newsletter for the last 2 years, leaving the country once a year.
Yeah.
Been doing that for the last 5 years. For the last 5 years.
Is that intentional? Like you
Yes.
always say, like, I'm going to at least leave the country one time. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was something you've said to yourself.
Yeah, no, that's for my mental health. And then also that's how I keep creativity alive, because everybody else is looking at what everybody else is making and not really experiencing the real world.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. So I written the newsletter, traveled outside of the country once a year. Those are probably, and then in the past 2 years, I've been consistent with posting on social.
Yeah, you have.
But not as maybe disciplined as I have been with like my newsletters. That and then drinking my water.
Was that not something that was very consistent before? You didn't drink water?
No, I used to be like, 70 ounces of iced coffee and rage a day.
Rage.
Now it's diluted with water. You're welcome.
At least, do you have like a goal of like, what are those people that do 100 ounces or something a day?
My goal's not that big. It's like 60 ounces.
Okay. And now you're adding in a protein goal, it sounds like.
Now I'm adding protein, and I will say for the last month, I've had breakfast before I've drank coffee, which is the first time in my adult life that I've done that for more than like 2 weeks. And I wake up and I'm starving. So that's been very interesting. Yeah, because that's in support of lowering my cortisol levels and regulating my nervous system. Because I cannot wake up and just chug coffee like I used to.
No, it doesn't work anymore.
Welcome to getting old. It's a lot of fun out here.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to kind of change some of those habits and rhythms for sure.
Yeah.
I would say for me, most consistent things I've done, I started working out like in 2019, and I fell in love with working out then, and I have consistently worked out every single week besides sick weeks or things like that since then. So that's a long time. That's probably
That's incredible.
That's probably one thing I've like actually been very consistent in that I can really trace back, because I remember starting in 2019 because I bought like a class pass type thing for working out, and I was like already telling myself like, you're never gonna do this consistently, you're never gonna last, and I was just really negative and spoke down to myself a lot. And so I fell in love with it. I started doing the classes every week. I loved feeling stronger. And then after that, like eating habits really changed too. And if I'm exercising regularly, like I want to eat healthier. That just like naturally happens. And I want to drink more water because I'm like sweating when I'm working out. And so I'm wanting to hydrate more. So I feel like that kind of started like this health journey for me. So I kind of reevaluated my food back then too, and have really stuck to more of a healthy diet over the last, 6, 7 years. And then I feel like I had a new wave of that kind of come through last year because I was so obsessed of like eating healthy and working out that it was not good for me, reached a place where it wasn't healthy because being addicted to anything is not good. And so then I like really worked on with therapy, going through like kind of rewiring my brain about my body and food and enjoying food. Like we're meant to enjoy it. Like it's a gift. Like it has great flavors. And I didn't ever enjoy food. It got in my way. Having to eat got in my way. I didn't enjoy eating. Now I enjoy eating, and I enjoy going to restaurants with friends and having a glass of wine and actually taking in calories, but I had a hard time doing that for a long time. So I would say even as I've been consistent with that, it has changed over the years too.
Yeah.
And then
I also just want to say, this is not water. This is iced coffee.
Of course it is. Just want to be clear.
Needed
This
to clear
80
that
ounce
up.
simple modern cup. It's full of coffee right now. I was actually thinking, this is such a bad rabbit trail, but I was actually like, I should DoorDash coffee here because I need another coffee. Anyways, so working out, huge one for me. Sticking with my business, that is the most surprising one.
Same for me.
I mean, the fact that I've kept a business going and running and I've lived off of my own, like I've always made my own income for the last 10 years is mind-blowing to me. I cannot believe I've stuck with something this long, and that has built so much trust within myself and so much confidence within myself.
Yeah.
The fact that I've just done it. And I mean, once again, just like the health stuff, that has ebbed and flowed and it looked different. And I think it's supposed to, but I've consistently run my own business and consistently made my own income for the last 10 years, which is something I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a huge one. And then within business, once I actually started doing business processes and systems, I've stuck with them. And it started with Trello, and that was back in 2022, I believe. And then now we're in 2026 and have only developed that like project management system and our processes and our like I can see the things that I've like really stuck with. I also post obviously regularly on social and do my newsletter regularly. I think you're more consistent with your newsletter than I am, but I have been more consistent than I ever have. The most surprising thing for me is that we're both still sitting here.
That one's honestly the shocker for not just you all, but also mainly for us.
I'm like, we've consistently posted a podcast episode every single week
For almost a
for
year.
almost a year now.
Which is, yeah.
I mean, mind-blowing to me. So it is
is
showing me that we are actually way more disciplined than we think we are. And I think we do actually have some expertise to share in this area.
I think for me, consistency is, it's more of a promise to myself. What is the promise that I've told myself? And if I can then, if me and my brain can battle it out as to like, why are we doing this? And I can tell my brain, this is why we're doing it. It's like, okay, I will keep you accountable to do this. So when I do the newsletters, and I've had a lot of people come up to me, they're like, hey, your newsletter is great, but is it generating revenue for you? Are you getting anything from that? And it could be very easy to say, no, I've never made a sale off my newsletter and I should shut it down. But I know that it's just a staying top of mind, being aware, a way to share my expertise. It's not always going to be the revenue driver. And I think a lot of people just put so much pressure on the one thing that you're doing has to solve the big problem. And I think that's where you lose consistency. Like when you're trying to post on social, you're like, well, I posted for a whole month and I did not get any projects from it. So I need to stop posting. And it's like, no, these things that take discipline need to be compounding over time for you to see results from it.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Taylor earlier and he was asking me, have you seen anything from the podcast? And I'm like, not directly, not somebody's like, hey, I called you because I saw you on the podcast. It's just a compounding effect to everything else I'm putting out there and everything else you're putting out there. It is not a main source driver. It is a top funnel awareness. So I think when you are battling with that consistency battle or that discipline battle in your mind, you need to be aware that some of these decisions that you make or some of these commitments that you make to yourself, they're not to solve every single problem in your life. It's to start just a little rock to keep moving that then starts to collect more things, and it becomes a bigger thing that just becomes a force. And that is the power of your discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to earn the trust with yourself too, because if you know that you're an inconsistent person, you know you're an inconsistent person. Like you feel that and
Well, and your body will self-sabotage yourself.
It will.
Yes.
And so you really have to push against the grain to become a disciplined person if that's what you're choosing to do. And what I noticed was like for me, what pushed me over the edge with that was working out. And then I've been able to add in all these other disciplines. And now I've become a really consistent person and consistently wake up early. I consistently journal. I consistently know when I need to go back to therapy. Like there are things that I have learned about myself because I've been able to go against the grain long enough to break some bad habits, create new really good habits. And then I'm like, oh no, I can totally do that. I can totally run a podcast with Naoma. I can totally, but I knew for a fact I did not have the capacity to do that by myself. So that's also like awareness from all the disciplines that I've had. But I think it starts with one thing that kind of pushes you over the threshold. And then it feels so good to see the results. And like when you wait, and you get to see like the harvest, you get to see the fruit come in, you're like, this was so worth it.
Yes.
But you have to stay in it long enough in the discomfort, in the hard, in the grind to see the fruit come out.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I can keep doing this.
And I think so many people just don't have the patience to see things through. I think that's why people are always looking for like, how do I become viral on social? How do I build a brand overnight? And the thing is, and I have so many clients come to me and they're like, I want to be the Apple of my industry. I want to be the Nike of my industry. But da 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 da, but da 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 da. And I'm like, the thing is you have not seen every single compounding thing that those businesses have had to do. And it's through every message, it's through every advertising, it's through everything that they've connected is why you feel that way about that brand. And that's how you have to treat yourself with your own discipline. I think when I started out with I think the newsletter was the first thing that I was like, I am making this commitment to myself that I will post a weekly newsletter and do it my way, because there were so many people that were like, your newsletter needs to drive sales and it needs to do
I know.
this. And so when I was like, what would I want to open every day? What is the thing that would help me as a business owner? That's what I want to be putting out. And that's how I started. And I was like, okay, you have a newsletter to put out. You made this commitment to yourself. You promised yourself that you're going to do this. So now do it. And I think when I hit the 1 year mark, I was like, oh my God,
I can do this.
I can do this.
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, I can post on social. Okay, I can do a podcast with somebody. I was in the same boat as you. I could not do it by myself, but with somebody else, definitely have capacity. But when you start to break what your brain has told you that you aren't, like you're an inconsistent person, you don't know what you're doing. Those are all things that you're always fighting. But when you have proof and saying, no, brain, I have done this. I have posted this. I have been doing this consistent. Your brain then starts to rewire itself and it says, I am a consistent person. I am a disciplined person. I can do this. I can do that. And it starts to change from I can't victim to I can, I'm possible. How do I move forward?
Yeah, I am in control of my own choices. I get to choose to do this or not do this. Like, and it puts the power back in your hands, honestly, because when you allow those thoughts to stay in your head, you're giving them power.
Yep.
You are. And like you get to choose whether those thoughts stay in your head. You don't get to choose if they pop up, but you get to choose if they stay in your head. And I did not realize the power that those thoughts had over me when I was in the midst of trying to become a more disciplined person, because I loved the people that I wanted to be like were disciplined in my life. Like when I was becoming that, I had realized, man, what are these characteristics about them that I really like and desire to have in myself? And it was that they were steady, they were sturdy, they were disciplined, they had really healthy habits, And overall, they seemed more joyful.
Yeah.
They like seemed happier. And I was not happy. It was very miserable. And now I can see doing hard work and getting to see the payoff of that. Like that's an innate human thing that we crave.
Yeah.
And I think it happens so slowly. I mean, and this is like everything we talk about with brand and social, and like, don't nitpick every post because we want to look at it in sequences and we want to kind of see what story we're telling and where this is going. And yes. And so in the same way, which is actually a really good indicator if I'm going to have a good client, I've realized, is like, do they know how life works with like things don't happen overnight in general, like period. And if they do, and they've learned that, then like they can speak my language with like, this is going to take time, but it's going to compound and it's going to bring revenue and it will do this, but it will take time and you're going to have to stick with it. I had a sales meeting this week where I had done a strategy for them and was presenting the strategy and then proposing monthly services. And they really, really wanted to know. And I know because they're scared, they're like, when will this produce revenue? Like, I fully believe it will. I'm reading this strategy. This is so good. This is exactly what we need. We don't have any ability to execute this, but I am so afraid basically to pay this amount monthly for the next 6 to 12 months when you can't tell me when it will start to work. And I was like, I can't though. Like I don't know because I don't know what you've currently been like. I don't know what the inside of your accounts look like. I don't know I generally know how many posts per week they were doing, but I didn't do a full analyzation yet. If we were going to bring them on, I would, but like, it's going to take time. You've kind of dug yourself in a hole here because you've been posting without a strategy and it's going to take time, but I'm not sure your business can afford not to do this because their main like referral base was coming from social.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, I know, and I can't lower my price.
No, because I'm doing a disservice to my team. Yeah.
So I was just like in this, I held the tension like with them, but that's how social works too. And so it's like everything in life, it just, nothing happens overnight. No. Nothing good happens that quickly. Like you do have to like put in the work. You have to grind. You have to allow it to shape you and mold you. And that's a part of it. That's the process.
Yeah. So what would you tell somebody who's really struggling with this discipline and this consistency? What would you tell them that they needed to work on right now? Or what would you give them as a tip?
I would say write down all the thoughts in your head for a full day.
Oh.
And you probably wouldn't expect me to say that. But
no,
because I think if you're struggling to be disciplined with like exercise, taking care of yourself, social, running your business, like you just feel like you're kind of all over the place. Like I would be really, really curious about the thoughts in your head and like the way that you're speaking to yourself, because that has so much power to allow us to stick with something or to not stick with something. And so I did that for about a full week. I wrote down every thought that was in my head and I had no idea how negative I was like towards myself and others. And it allowed me to write down some statements to combat those like negative things that were in my head. Cause it was very patterned, which was crazy. Cause when you do it for a full week, you can see like, there were very, very specific things that I needed to like combat with truth, whether that's proof of something good that I had done or, something that someone had said to me that was true and things that I've seen in my own character, someone's pointed it out in me, or what's like true as I am just like a human being. And that was crazy. I think that was one of the biggest things that changed me, was I was able to rewire my brain by saying, I'm not going to think these things about myself anymore. I'm going to think these things instead. And when those thoughts would come to my mind, I would know what statement to think about. And I had them in my phone and I wrote them on my hand one time. And that helped me so much during a season of trying to become a different person, because I also had reached a place where I hated who I was. And so I think there has to be a place of like, you have to really desire this different way more than you desire to stay the same. And you have to really, really want to grow.
Yeah. You talk about that a lot.
And then you would go to the place of like what are you willing to do? Like, what's it worth to you? And for
Mhm.
me, it was worth writing down all of my thoughts that I had for an entire week and then rewiring the things I was telling myself and telling myself a different story over and over and over again, because
Wow.
you can't trust the thoughts in your head.
Yeah. That's so good. And that was not what I would have said at all. That's so deep, but also very needed, especially if you're in that dark space and you're like, I am not disciplined at all. I'm not consistent at all. And I hate that about myself. That's
Yeah.
probably a great way to start it.
Yeah.
I would have said, make one promise to yourself that you know you will be able to keep. That's a little bit hard.
I was going to say, I don't know that
Like
I
for me, it
could.
was the newsletter. I was like, okay, this is the only thing you're focusing on. You can let go of social, you can let go of reels, you can let go of all this other stuff. This is going to be the one thing that you can do, and it can be short or it can be long. It can be whatever you want it to be. And so when I made a commitment to one small thing that was still hard to do, but I kept that promise to myself, that showed my brain that, hey, you can keep promises to yourself. You can be disciplined.
Yeah.
You just didn't realize it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are other ways too, with like more practical putting it in ClickUp every week to have
For
a
sure.
reminder to write my weekly email. Like, that is really important for me to
Yeah.
set aside and block out my calendar to like schedule LinkedIn content. Like, if you're talking about consistency on
The day to
social
day.
media stuff,
Well, I
for
also just
sure.
think for the day to day.
Or day to day. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I need to schedule into my calendar like when I'm gonna go to the gym. But with that one, it's kind of like, come hell or high water, I'm getting to the gym. Like, even if it's not on my calendar. Like, I mean, yesterday, 30 minutes before I picked up Esther, I ran to the gym and like got some type of workout in, or I'll work out at home or something. But that one's easier for me to prioritize because it gives me such a quick
But you've
release.
also been
Yeah.
so disciplined with it for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, and
So-
my ClickUp doesn't really help me that much with writing my weekly newsletter either. It shows up and it pops up, but like most of the time, the day that it comes up, I don't actually write it that day. I just know, it's just almost like a little check that's like, hey, you need to write your weekly newsletter this week.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you can project manage yourself into being disciplined. It didn't work for me. There was too much that I needed to like really work on.
It did work for me. So
It did.
it did. Yeah.
To like put it in a project management system.
So yeah, so that's why I'm like, there's different people.
Yeah.
So for me, and I still have it where it says, Naoma, write your newsletter on every Wednesday. It pops up on my ClickUp because my newsletter goes out on Thursdays.
Yep.
And like I said, and I can tell these last 2 weeks that I haven't posted one. I'm more disappointed in myself than like, oh, nobody's reading my thing. I'm like, no, I'm disappointed in me for not doing it. And it's just because I'm wrangling with software as usual.
As she loves to do.
As I love to do. But for me, what would happen is I would say, I want to do this and I want to do that. And then everything would just stay in my head. And so one thing that I did that really helped me to become more consistent, more disciplined, is to get everything out of my head. Not just thoughts, but like,
Yeah.
what are those open loops that are just taking up space in my head?
Yes.
So I have a notes app on my notes app. I have this pinned note, and it's like brain dump. And so every night when I can feel everything surging through me, I just throw it all in there because I know that I'll look at it and I'll add it into ClickUp for the next week.
Yeah.
So that just helps clear brain space so that I
That's
can
smart.
then do the disciplined things that I need to do. And also it helps me get everything out and then say, okay, what's the priority? What's the thing that's actually going to move things forward? And what's the thing that I just kind of like, I want to do, but it's not really important right now. Those are super important. I also block my calendar. I'm probably very anal about my calendar compared to other people. But I try to keep 2 days that are like my head down days where I can actually get things across the finish line, just because they start to grate at me. I'm not always great at it, but I attempt to.
I think Steve too, that made me think of him. Like, he's helped you a lot, your business coach.
He's because he's condensed down the amount of things I need to be doing to, these are the 5 things we're working on right now, right? This is what you need to be moving towards. You need this. Another thing that's really helped me with the consistency is like build a new website. That's a huge thing to overhaul. So how can we like bite chunk it out to where I can say, I'm going to do this one thing today and I'm going to do this one thing tomorrow, to just help you say, I can do these big things. I just need, it's more about tricking your brain into saying, I can do this. Bless you.
Thank you. No, I completely agree with that. And it made me think of something I do at the beginning of every year is write down like I am statements of who I want to be and who.
And you write them in the present?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I am like, and I do it with every category of my life. Like the mom that I am, the business owner that I am, the friend that I am, the romantic partner that I am, the creative that I am, like the things that I also love to do with like even travel. Like I have a statement with travel and being intentional with like my travel.
Yeah.
And those have helped too with like, know who am I really, and who do I want to be, and then speaking those out over myself has really helped a lot.
Those are great. I will say, as you become more disciplined and more consistent, your confidence grows.
Yes.
Because you have it's a brain hack essentially. You are telling your brain, I am this person that you didn't think I was. So watch what else I can build. And your brain is like, let's see what else we can build.
Yeah.
It kind of is trying to move along with you rather than pull you back into safety.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you need to also just be aware of who you are, where you're at, and like what you've been through, because I have a lot of friends that I'll like mentor and they haven't had as much trauma in their childhood as I did. And so they don't have certain things they need to work through that I did need to work through because of that safety piece. Like I'm safe now, and so I don't need to protect myself. And so what does it look like to not protect myself in this moment of being safe, you know? And then you really can make some strides with that discipline and consistency. And so give yourself a lot of grace too. I think that's one of the worst things you can do is beat yourself up when you're in the middle of trying to change habits and become a more disciplined person. And take the quick wins, like, and celebrate them. Like allow yourself to celebrate the good things that you are doing and the things that you're accomplishing. And that's like something I'm really terrible at, is like, and we talked about this with our New Year podcast, like celebrate the accomplishments of your team and what you've gotten done. And we've actually started doing like personal win and business win for the week when we do our calls on Fridays. And today it was so fun to see like everyone had kind of thought through them, you know, before even getting on the call, and they were excited to share them. And
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I got to invite them in on like, and my daughter went back to school today after her surgery. And, you know, like that was a really big win for me. And now I feel like I can finally start the new year at January 15th. But hey, here we are.
That's fine. It's fine. I that's where I think like if you can make one small promise to yourself and keep that promise to yourself, that's the fastest way to kind of start to brain hack your I'm not consistent, I'm not disciplined mindset, if that's what you have.
Yes.
If you're looking for those tactical, like the brain dump list,
even that takes discipline though, dumping your brain out.
Well, I can't sleep if I don't have it. If you are like staring up at the ceiling at night because you can't sleep, it's probably because you have all those open loops. And I bet you that if you get it out on paper, you'll be
in a lot better place.
Easier to manage your emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, this would be my hacks. So
yeah, I think those are good.
Yeah. Anyway, here's to a more disciplined you. Bye.
Bye. And that's a wrap on this episode.
If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend.